you anticipate he would be ready to play left field?
I don't know. I think we're gonna have to kind of see how he goes through drills. Obviously, he's DHing today, um, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to when I'm comfortable, when I see him run a little better, and I watch him do some drills in the outfield with bees, then I can kind of evaluate him to see if it's worth putting him out there, because that's where he got hurt. So that's my concern. Is that kind of moving, shifting? He didn't do it swinging, which is a good thing, but I don't know. I'm hoping within a week.
When do you think, how much better defensively is Calhoun than Shu in left field when they're
Um,
both healthy?
I don't know. I think they're pretty similar. I think they're. I wouldn't say either one's got the edge. I'd probably rate them about equal.
So you just feel, okay, thank you very much.
Sam?
With Mathis catching, is that going to be kind of like a pair with him and Minor, or is it just kind of you wanted to not have Trinos go all weekend, or what was kind of the thinking there?
Yeah, Torinos definitely wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna catch him. I'm thinking about maybe DHing him tomorrow, just so we, take it easy on him. But he may catch tomorrow. I mean, Robbie may catch tomorrow if he feels good. No, I mean this is. Listen, I got two other catchers with Mathis and Trevino that right now I put obviously Mathis out there for obviously Minor threw to him pretty much all year last year, so I felt like today was a good day to just get Mikey comfortable, get him a good start under his belt. I have full faith in Trevino as well, so I'm probably gonna honestly go back and forth with the backup guys. If one guy kind of takes it, I guess leaps ahead as far as the bat goes, then maybe he'll get more playing time. So at this point, I don't really have a set schedule. I don't think it's fair to Robbie, because the way things line up, they all need to catch every guy.
What else? John Ronigan.
Woody, your team is going to win some masterfully pitched games, even in a short season. They're going to win some games where multiple guys hit beautiful, towering home runs. But last night, you would call scrappy. And I wonder, even though it's only one game, does that sort of give you an indication of the personality of this team, of what kind of team you have?
I hope so. that's what we're trying to. We love to win 9-1 every game. That'd be ideal. But yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about grit. Scrappy, whatever you want to call it. I like the word grit, but it's something that if it defines our ball club, we will win games like last night. And to be an elite team, you have to win games that way. You can't outslug or outpitch every night. There's going to be tough games, and we find a way to win. Rugi gets a big hit. We had we had our 8-9 guys kind of have some guys on base, but be able to navigate through it. It was a gritty game, and that's what I'm dying for our ball club to represent. And internally, I feel like they do. Now we're obviously hoping to see it on the field.
Talking about the way Robbie played last night, what did you like better, the framing of the pitch in the ninth inning or the mound visit? We had two of them really. Lance was struggling there a little bit in the beginning of the fourth, and he visited, and then of course Jose in the ninth, that visit. I mean, which of those things do you think you liked best from Robbie last night?
I kind of like the leadership aspect, the calming influence, when you get guys to believe in themselves and to trust, what's going on out there. Especially a guy like Pico, who getting that first save under his belt is obviously important for him, with what he went through at the beginning of last year. So, that was huge. That was, I love that he's obviously a good framer as well. That helps, to steal some strikes every once in a while. But, the leadership aspect is where I find his the most valuable.
And you get to send Mike Minor to the mound today, who's a guy that obviously could have easily been the opening day starter. That's pretty nice to have that sort of depth, that you have so many guys that could have been the opening day starter, and you get to continue sending them to the mound.
Yeah, you're gonna make that statement pretty much every day this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. I think it's awesome for our ball club as well. We all know, the players all know that, especially the offensive guys. I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off of them at some point to just say, okay, what, we won a game 1-0 last night against a pretty good offensive ball club. That speaks volumes to to, when we go into a game, maybe takes the pressure off and we just kind of relax and really start to produce offensively. I think you're going to see the snowball effect a little bit in that way. So that's obviously nice to have as a manager. Anytime you put a ball in a guy's hands, you got 3 aces at the top and 2 really, really good ones outside of that as well.
Thanks, Rick.
Other questions, Stephen?
Chris, we talked about, the new ballpark and everything, and obviously it was just a real opener. But once kind of things got going, how did it feel? How did the atmosphere feel? And did it feel like a regular season game last night?
Yeah, I think it did. Obviously, once it got, when I'm talking, and we're, Julio and Walker and I are talking the whole game just about, things that may happen coming up. It seems normal to me. That was kind of my sweet spot, if you want to say it. It felt really normal to me at that point because that was what I'm used to. I think before that it felt a little weird. The opening ceremonies it seemed kind of, we're used to having fans and we're used to having kind of the hoopla go on, when we're all getting introduced and, when I'm running out to the out to home plate at the beginning, it felt a little different just because there was no fans out there. But overall, it was, once the game got going, it felt normal.
So you think now basically you guys can just kind of get your routine down? Kind of play games and do what you do. Is that kind of where you're at right now?
Yeah. No, guys are hungry. They, like I said, every time I see them, every day they come in, they're ready to roll. They're ready to obviously come and compete and win a game every day.
We asked you last night about the story ball, but was there anything else that you noticed last night that was different about this ballpark? Any plays or anything that you thought, hey, this would have been different across the street?
I think the Kiner triple, may have worked in our favor a little bit. If that was obviously, I think it was 2 outs. If it was before that, that would have obviously factored into the scoring probably. We knew right away, Kiner knew right away as soon as he hit it, if McMahon didn't run over and grab the ball, that there was a good chance he was going to get a triple out of that, because we've seen it. We've seen it over and over again. That's the one that kind of sticks out for me.
Thanks, Brad.
Other questions, please, Chris?
Going back to your catcher rotation, this might be a really premature question because we're only 1 game in and there's still, essentially 2 weeks until you guys have to cut the roster down to 28. But how do you best evaluate Mathis and Trevino? Because I don't know what you guys thinking is when it comes to whether you're going to keep 3 catchers once the roster goes down to 28 or if you're going to go down to 2 catchers. So what is the best way you can evaluate if there's only 2 weeks of being 3 catchers?
It is going to be tough just because I don't think those guys are going to get the playing time enough to evaluate them. Obviously Robbie, is our, everyday catcher. And I'm going to try to get him in there health-wise as much as I can possibly get him in there. So it may be a little bit unfair to evaluate him, maybe on, 2 or 3 or at most 4 starts, but we'll have to make a decision. If we do cut down to 2, we're going to have to obviously cut down to 2. So, we've been talking about that already, but I would say it's a little premature right now we haven't even seen either one of the other guys play. So once I see that, then maybe I can answer.
Thank you, Chris.
What else? Other questions? Alex?
So Woody, just want to clarify, you said Chirinos is going to be DHing tomorrow. Does that mean Trevino's going to catch Kluber tomorrow?
He may DH tomorrow. I think if Chirinos is fully healthy, I've talked to him about it yesterday. I'm going to speak to him about it today. And if he's ready to go, then Chirinos will probably catch. But if it does make sense to kind of just get him off his feet and let him hit, then obviously Trevino would catch tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? PR?
Chris, last night you used a defensive replacement in center, but not at first base. So I'm just curious what your philosophy is going to be as far as using defensive replacements in games like that.
Depends on when they're coming up in the lineup. If Frazier would have made the last out at that point, I probably would have. I probably would have put Guzzi in there, but I wanted to keep his bat in the lineup. The defensive replacement is important. It's something that we're going to do, obviously, but if it means taking a guy's bat out of the lineup in a potential tie game, I'm not going to do that. Not every time. There are times maybe if I feel really confident with the guy who's coming in to pitch, 2-run lead, 3-run lead, then I probably will. But last night in a 1-run game, I wasn't going to do that.
Anything else? Jared?
Hey, Woody, I know, in March or April, maybe early on, you wouldn't use relievers back-to-back days if you didn't have to. Is that, I mean, with the 60-game season, or is it safe to say all three of those guys are available tonight or today if needed, or are you going to kind of take a similar approach?
I would say it's safe to say they're available. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I know that they are available. They've all kind of stressed that. Unless one of them comes in really sore, obviously I'm not going to use them. I mean, yeah, it's a 60-game season. I mean, you said it best. So if Leclerc has to go back out there, or Jonathan has to go back out there, I'm sure they'll be more than willing to do it. And if they're healthy enough, we may do it.
Thanks.
Anything else? Levi?
Not to drag this out into a whole other next few days, but just, when we talked to you yesterday, it was still before the pregame ceremony. I kind of wanted to just get your thoughts on how that felt, after having done it, being out there with, kneeling before the anthem and then people standing. I wanted to get maybe a post-game vibe from you on that.
Yeah, it was, the thing is, there's been so many conversations within our clubhouse with so many different, not only as a group, but, personal conversations with each of these guys. It's a deep issue. It's a very, very deep issue. So, I just get frustrated when people look at it from the peripheral and just say, okay, you made this decision. This is what you stand for. It's like there's so many thoughts and emotions and feelings that go into every decision you make like that. It was pretty powerful for me. There's something I have a lot of, very, very, very close friends of mine that are African American, and have had many conversations about the injustices that they've had to deal with, the experiences. I'm not basing this on any kind of numbers or any political party or anything like that. These are just experiences that I've personally heard from these, people. And they're powerful. They're very, very powerful to me, and the empathy that I have for them and what they've had to go through, I haven't had to go through. So I just felt, if our players are willing to, put themselves on the line like that, we were standing for the anthem. That's one thing I want to make clear. Like, a lot of people, didn't understand what was happening at that point, and I don't read social media or do anything too often, but I heard some comments that made me angry. Like, we all stood for the anthem. So if people don't see that, and they're not willing to look and see and read into the details of what happened last night, we did not disrespect our flag. We did not disrespect our country. We were standing for racial equality, or we were kneeling for racial equality in support of that, in the fight against social injustice. That was it. That was it for me. And, I stood alongside our guys, and I felt that was important. So it was a pretty powerful moment for me, and I know that, I wanted to make sure I had my players and my staff members back, and everybody in our organization and everybody in our country, for that matter, that are African American.
Go ahead, TR.
Chris, do you feel like you let one get away from you today?
Kind of feels that way. I thought we had plenty of opportunities, and the runs they got we kind of gave them. The fourth inning, we made some mistakes in that inning and gave up 2 runs, and we lose by 1. We had bases loaded. We had second and third. We had a lot of opportunities, especially with some of our better hitters up. So, yeah, it definitely feels like we kind of let one get away from us there.
Is there anything at this point that jumps out at you or concerns you about your offense?
I thought we did a good job to get in those positions. I thought we did a good job. Elvis, Chu, a couple guys with some big walks to kind of put us in a position to score. But we just, either missed a pitch or didn't get it done when we had the opportunity. So it's something we're going to obviously, address with our guys, and it's something we address often is the hitting with runners in scoring position, the type of at bats, and how to get the pitcher looking for. Diaz, for example, threw a lot of sliders, pretty predictable. We knew that. I think we got we had an opportunity there to kind of put him away, and we let him off the hook.
Next question, please. Other questions? Levi?
Second day in a row that you have seen a young reliever come in and do a pretty good job. You didn't do both. It looked pretty impressive. What did you see from him at ground level down there?
Yeah, it's kind of what we saw, the whole camp. he's throwing strikes. When he throws the ball over the plate and he executes, his stuff is pretty good. You could see it. The ball, fastball kind of jumps. The slider and changeup are really effective. So it wasn't anything different than what we have been seeing, which is what we were hoping to see, against other competition. We've always thought of that, in Ian, and he's proven it right now.
Other questions, Sam?
What you thinking about Mike Minor?
I thought Mikey was good. I thought, if it wasn't for that fourth inning, it seemed like, I know he didn't feel too great coming out of the bullpen, but, that's kind of how Mikey and those guys roll. They, you wouldn't know it by watching them throw the first 3 innings. If we make a couple plays and, if we don't give them extra outs in that inning, Mikey probably goes 6 or 7. So I thought overall it was good. He got through 5. I thought he threw the ball pretty well.
And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, what's his status?
I'm hoping it's just a cramp. That's what, he said he felt it a little bit last night. I don't know if it's enough to be considered a strain, but it was something that, we both kind of talked about, and I talked with the trainers. I don't know if it was worth it. It was grabbing on him a little bit when he was, trying to run before the game. So I felt like it makes no sense to try to put him in a situation where he could end up hurting himself, even more. So hopefully he might be in there tomorrow if he's, if he feels good coming in tomorrow. But otherwise, we have an off day after that, so it might be okay to give him another couple of days.
Other questions? Levi?
I don't know if you want to say anything about the other team, but Daniel Bard, this is his first time on a big league mound since 2013, and he picks up the win today. Always sucks to lose, but was there some? Was it cool to see that for him? I guess a guy you had played with before.
That's why we couldn't get the big hit. There's a higher power involved. Yeah, it is pretty cool to see that. Obviously, I'm a baseball fan, so I'm a fan of stories like that. I didn't want to see him get his first win against us, but obviously, former teammate that I know a little bit. I am happy for him. Like I said, it's not cool when it's against us, but it is. I'm a big fan of stories like that.
Other questions, PR?
Did you get any kind of read on what happened with Odor on that grounder up the middle?
I think he just, when the ball is chopped like that, I think he was trying to rush it a little bit to think he could get a double play out of it. I think right there we just got to kind of transfer it, keep it clean, and give it to the shortstop. If you can't get 2, you can't get 2, but I think he tried to rush it a little bit, that's all.
Paul, you got a question? Paul Jones?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
And if you've already answered this, Chris, I apologize. I was making my way down to our location. The missed scoring opportunities in the 7th and the 8th, if you did discuss those, just disregard. But if not, I was just curious your thoughts on those wasted opportunities today.
Yeah, they obviously, we had a golden opportunity with a lot of our best hitters. I did answer it earlier, but it was something that kind of defined the game. We were in it the whole way, and we ended up losing by 1 run, and we had bases loaded in 2nd and 3rd, with less than 2 outs. So those are situations I expect especially our best hitters to come through and to capitalize on. But today they got us.
Thank you. Sorry for the repetition.